James and Edward call themselves the action-adventure twins, and honestly, they've earned it. Since 2020, they've been squeezing through some of the most claustrophobic, legitimately dangerous cave systems you can imagine. The kind of places where you're belly crawling through mud with maybe 6 inches of clearance above your spine, wondering what possessed you to think this was a good idea. Their YouTube channel is full of that stuff: tight passages, underground rivers, chambers that haven't seen daylight in millennia. They always seemed confident, maybe a little too confident, like guys who'd done this enough times that fear was just background noise. But in January 2022, that confidence nearly killed them. Pettijohn's Cave in Georgia isn't your average tourist attraction with handrails and LED lights. It's a massive underground maze that twists and branches for miles in every direction. The kind of place where you can take one wrong turn and end up completely disoriented, with no idea if you're heading toward the entrance or deeper into a system that could go on forever. The twins had been there before, actually. They'd even found a hidden waterfall on a previous trip, so when they went back, they figured they had a handle on the place. They were wrong. This time, they wanted to tackle a section called Nervous Breakdown. And look, when cavers name something Nervous Breakdown, they're not being cute. It's a warning. This particular passage is infamous for breaking people mentally before it breaks them physically: tight squeezes, dead ends everywhere, turns that all look identical until you've been crawling in circles for an hour and realize you have no idea where you are. Experienced cavers talk about it the way combat veterans talk about certain battles. It's not just difficult. It's designed to mess with your head. The video starts like most of their others. Helmet cameras catching glimpses of wet limestone, their breathing heavy and echoing off narrow walls, the occasional scrape of equipment against rock. 20 minutes in, they reach this small chamber with a deep, muddy pit right in the middle. The kind where if you slip and fall in, you're waist deep in cold muck and your buddy's going to have a hell of a time hauling you out. They edge around it carefully, and you can tell from the way they move that they're taking it seriously. Nobody's joking around anymore. Eventually, they make it to what they think is the entrance to Nervous Breakdown. But something's off. Parts of the passage have collapsed since their last visit, rocks shifted, new gaps opened up, familiar landmarks just gone. They spend a while trying to figure out where the actual route is, shining their lights into cracks and crevices, looking for anything recognizable. That's when Edward spots this narrow shaft dropping down into darkness. He gets excited, that kind of adrenaline buzz you hear in his voice. You know the feeling, when you think you've found the secret passage, the hidden route that's going to make the whole trip worth it. He doesn't wait. Just drops down into it while James hangs back at the top, probably figuring one of them should stay put in case something goes wrong. And that's exactly when everything goes wrong. Edward keeps calling up to James every few seconds as he descends, just checking in, making sure they're still connected. Then, suddenly, nothing. No echo. No response. Just the sound of water dripping somewhere in the darkness and his own breathing inside his helmet. In the footage, you can hear his voice change. "I don't hear James anymore," he says, and there's this tremor underneath the words that wasn't there before. Oh. Now he's alone. Completely alone in one of the most disorienting cave systems in Georgia, in a section specifically designed to make you feel like you're losing your mind. And here's the thing about being lost underground: it's not like being lost in a forest where you can at least see the sky, get your bearings, follow the sun. In a cave, every passage looks like every other passage. The rock walls are the same color, the same texture. Your headlamp only shows you what's directly in front of you, maybe 10 feet at best. Turn around 3 times and you've already forgotten which direction you came from. Edward tries to stay calm at first. He moves slowly, calling out James's name every minute or so, listening for any response. But the deeper he goes, the more obvious it becomes that he's just guessing. He's in a 3-dimensional maze with no map, no breadcrumbs, and no idea if he's moving toward his brother or away from him. After about 30 minutes, though it could have been 20 or 50. Time doesn't work normally when you're panicking underground, you can hear it in his voice. The fear isn't background noise anymore. It's the whole song. It's been like 30 minutes since I last saw him, he tells the camera, and his voice cracks a little. I don't even know where I'm at. I tried to go back to the last place I saw him, but everything looks the same. It's just a jumble of tunnels. We should have never split up. And he's right. They shouldn't have. It's the first rule of caving, never separate from your partner. Because this is what happens. You make one wrong turn, squeeze through one passage that looks like it's heading back but actually loops deeper, and suddenly you're in a situation where finding your way out isn't guaranteed anymore. People die in caves like this. Not from dramatic collapses or flooding, but from exhaustion, from hypothermia, from making one wrong choice after another until they can't make any more choices at all. I've watched this video more times than I should have, and that section where Edward's just wandering, calling out into empty tunnels, getting no response, it's genuinely hard to watch. You can feel the walls closing in even through a screen. The way his light bounces off wet rock that all looks identical. The way his breathing gets faster. The realization creeping into his voice that he might actually be stuck down here. But then, finally, he sees something. A small piece of bright tape stuck to the rock wall. They'd placed markers earlier on the way down, just little strips of tape at key junctions to help them remember the route. He'd been crawling past these tunnels for who knows how long without seeing them, turned around so completely that he'd stopped recognizing the path they'd come in on. You can hear the shift in his voice immediately. Oh, the tape. Yeah, okay, this looks familiar. This has gotta be the way. He follows the tape trail, moving faster now, hope overriding exhaustion. And then he hears it, a faint sound up ahead. Muffled, distant, but unmistakably human. James? Oh, you're over here. I see your light, dude. When they finally reunite, they both sound completely wrecked. Not just physically tired, but that deep exhaustion that comes from pure adrenaline crash after sustained terror. James lets out this shaky laugh and says something about how the place is a maze, how he genuinely thought they might not find each other. Edward just agrees, his voice flat in a way that tells you he was thinking the same thing but doesn't want to say it out loud. They stuck together for the rest of the climb out. No more exploring side passages. No more taking chances. Just the two of them, staying within arm's reach, getting the hell out of nervous breakdown. The twins still upload caving videos. They're still out there crawling through underground systems most people wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. But if you watch their newer content, there's a difference. Less bravado. More caution. Constant check-ins with each other. They don't split up anymore, not even for a second. That day in Pettijohns clearly left a mark. Honestly, I think about that footage more than I should. There's something about the idea of being lost underground, in total darkness, with no guarantee you'll ever find your way back, that touches on a very specific kind of fear. Not the jump scare kind, but the slow, creeping realization that you're in over your head and there's no one coming to save you. Just you, your bad decisions, and a labyrinth of rock that doesn't care if you make it out or not. Edward got lucky. He found that tape. But he could just as easily have kept going in the wrong direction, gotten wedged in a dead-end passage, or just collapsed from exhaustion in some chamber where nobody would ever think to look. Luck's a weird thing to bet your life on. But sometimes, in places like nervous breakdown, it's all you've got left.